kind of wanted to start by complimenting this afternoon's program, particularly for those of you who are in Erin Meyer's session. Having said that, I don't know if anybody else was somewhat slighted by the fact that she didn't cover the Irish culture. So if anybody was wondering, we're high impact and we're all about high relationships. So if you want to do any deals in Ireland, do them in a pub. Just don't drink as much as the Irish because you're sure to lose the deal if you do. So thank you so much for this honor. I must say I am truly humbled to be in the company of so many people that I actually have learned from here in the room tonight, people who have shaped my thinking and people who've made me realize the difference that the communications industry can actually make. And thanks to the Arthur Page Society, specifically, all of you and the many people who have been recipients before are not just peers, but actually friends as well, which I think is a huge credit to the Society. In particular, I would like to acknowledge the past chairs, Roger Bolton, Merrill MacDonald, John Iwata, Bill Margaritis, Gary Sheffer, and now Dave Sampson, with whom I've had the honor of serving as a member of the trustee committee. And it's a privilege to share the award platform this evening with my colleague and friend, Ray Kotcher. Whether it's in the service to the profession, to Page itself, or co-authoring the chapter in the book, which we've been doing recently, or just simply thinking about the future of our industry or the challenges we face as leaders in agencies. Ray's contributions have always been incredibly insightful and his attitude selfless. So this recognition tonight is so well deserved, Ray. I want to salute my global team at Text 100 and at Next 15. Their diversity of culture, their styles, and their points of view make them some of the greatest people I could have the privilege of as colleagues. I also want to make mention and thanks to my 4 children, Hannah, Paul, Sinead, and Oliver, because I learn from them each and every day, and they keep me grounded in the things that I think matter most. I also need to call out my partner, Kelvin. Anytime I get really excited about the latest big idea, my tremendous innovation or brainwave or crazy theory, I can be sure that he'll be there to argue the counterpoint, challenge my thinking, or ultimately prove me wrong by Googling the correct answer. And if on the rare occasion that I am in fact right, I can rest assured that it will appear in his next great epiphany, with or without my being credited. I've truly met my match, and he makes my life a lot more fun and interesting. But as grateful as I am for this honor this evening, I can't help asking myself one question. What am I doing here? I grew up in Ireland, and my father was an educator, and he insisted that we all study Latin, which is pretty daunting until you do actually begin to study it and understand the root of all language there. Of course, given my culture, I also have an innate love of storytelling. Plus, I have siblings in careers in the arts and theatre. So naturally, for those of you who know me, I went the opposite direction. I fell in love with business and technology. And I didn't give a thought to communications as a career. There wasn't a blip on my radar. Like many of you, I just stumbled into this as a profession. For me, that was partly by luck, but mostly because I came of age at a time some of the greatest mavericks in the technology industry. I started my career in the late 80s in an era of non-stop innovation. People like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs were changing the world. And you could listen to music on a Sony Walkman or entertainment devices like the Nintendo, or have a chat on one of those incredibly big, chunky mobile phones. It was all about innovation, disruption, and change, and all the things that make for a great story. I loved technology. So when I moved from Ireland to London in 1990, I found a way of putting my love for business and technology and storytelling together in a career. I joined a startup PR agency that specialized in technology called Text 100. And ever since then, I've had the opportunity to work across the world with some of the greatest technology innovators. and been able to learn from the smartest technology and communications disruptors around, many of whom are in the room. Ultimately, I had the privilege of working for IBM and found a tremendous co-conspirator and friend in John Iwata as I moved into the leadership of my own organization. So what have I learned from this incredible journey? I can sum it up in 3 points: accepting responsibility, embracing change, and respecting humanity. So my first point is that communications is not only a business imperative, but it's also an enormous responsibility. So after 8 years of working at Text 100 across mainland Europe, my Xerox client came to me and said, would I be interested in moving to Silicon Valley to help out PR at Xerox PARC, the Palo Alto Research Center? It meant, and this was the most important thing, that I had a chance to work with the legendary chief scientist, John Seely Brown. So needless to say, I jumped at the opportunity, if you think about all the mavericks that I had wanted to work for. But at our first meeting, he told me pretty bluntly that he didn't think that PR could help change things. And he was right, because seen through the traditional lens of PR as media relations. But instead, we worked together in an entirely different strategic approach, one based on shifting from PR to communications, turning our work, in his words, to a forethought rather than an afterthought. We recast the PARC story, past and present. We turned communications into a strategic tool that helped people understand how we were thinking. We engaged people in imagining the future with us and becoming part of our success. So of all the business drivers, I believe communications has the greatest potential to affect change. We have the ability to shape reputations and spark powerful movements, to take complex topics from cloud computing to augmented reality and make it accessible to the masses, to build public awareness of an idea, to create understanding and acceptance, and to earn public permission. It is about much more than products or services a company offers. It's about the ideas that these products and services embody. And because of that, our work has always been important, but it is of immense importance in these difficult and contentious times. So wherever I go, whether it's working on behalf of Text 100 or working as a board director for TechnoServe right across the world, I see signs of unrest and alienation from people who are striving for better lives, yet they feel that somehow or other they've been shortchanged. They want to be heard, and they want to be able to close the gaps in opportunity and equality. I believe it's critically important to those of us in this profession to realize the power that we have and how it can help the powerless to realize their goals. Admittedly, we can't solve their problems by communications alone, but we can use our work both in the service of our clients and in the service of humanity. That's the key metric of success, in my opinion, that we seize the opportunity to truly make a difference. My second point, technology and change should be embraced and not feared. So technology is changing communications more today than it has done nearly the past 200 years since the telegraph demolished distance. Today, mobile, always-on technology has democratized communications. It's created enormous opportunity to the entire world to participate, to connect, to learn, to share, and to unify. But let's be honest, technology has also created a lot of fear. Fear that our business can be crippled by hackers, our reputation destroyed by the Twitter sphere. Fear that as individuals we'll lose all semblance of privacy. Fears that advances in artificial intelligence, deep learning, data mining, robotics, all mean that soon machines and not people will take control. And many communicators fear technology because it disrupts everything we've known how to do in our jobs and how we measure it. Even some of the people today who are most closely associated with technology use their name and their public awareness to connect advances in technology with fear of the unknown. But that's nothing new. Today's dystopia industry goes back to the Luddites, to those who warned that the telephone would destroy our moral fiber, or to George Orwell's 1984. And just a few years ago, the Y2K bug was going to bring the entire society to a halt. It's important for us to question new technology and how it might be used or abused. But when the questioning becomes fear, is when we lose the sight of the power, of the potential, the possibilities for better outcomes, which is why I reject it. We must not be afraid of technology. We must welcome and embrace it, because I know and have seen what it can do for people in our profession. I believe technology has the power not only to advance our profession in incredibly positive ways, but to address the inequalities in the world. Take the open source movement, for example. It's essentially the democratization of code. It means that technology we use every day is constantly improved by a man from Mumbai, a woman from Warsaw, or a kid from Kansas. Open source, by definition, blurs the line of gender, culture, race, religion, politics, and economics. The best ideas can come from anywhere, get assembled, disassembled, and reassembled at will. Contributors are measured entirely by their skills and their inputs. What they think and do is who they are, and we're all the better for it. My third and final point is that the essential link between the potential of technology and the responsibility of our profession is our humanity. Technology by itself is neutral, whether it's in the pursuit of business goals or social change. What makes technology a positive contributor or prevents it from reaching a potential for good is how we use it. In other words, what matters most is bringing our humanity to bear. It's the human element that's something that technology itself cannot provide that truly makes the advances valuable. And as professional communicators, we all carry a special responsibility to treat words as if they were currency, because words have immense power. Storytelling is as old as humankind, and since we first began to speak, we have used words to break down barriers that stand between people, to resolve tension, and to avoid conflict. When these words are delivered from the heart, when these stories acknowledge the humanity of both the storyteller and the audience, when they reflect what unites us, they can demolish the most imposing of barriers. Technology, social media, mobile devices, AI, new user interface, the Internet of Things, makes it possible for us to tell these stories in new ways and to new audiences. It also empowers them to talk back to us, and that's led to a world of hyper-transparency, which can be a tremendous asset for an organization. But at the same time, a misguided word or action has the power to make or break a business, affect the outcome of political campaigns, and change a person's life forever. You don't have to look further than Ryan Lochte during the Rio Olympics or what's been happening in our current presidential election in the United States to see that. So I believe it's up to us to ensure we bring our humanity along with our social media programs, that we incorporate it into our plans. I believe we not only have an individual duty to do so for our clients or organization, but also a shared responsibility as a community of communicators to tame the rhetoric, rein in the hype, and call bullshit before it becomes public fodder. To be mindful of how our work affects people's lives as much as how it contributes to the bottom line. To me, these points are timeless, and probably more timely than ever. Accepting responsibility, embracing technology, and respecting humanity. Because we're not in the cusp of change, we're in the thick of it. Innovation and disruption have been a constant since I started my career. Each new development in technology did not create change, but simply accelerated the pace of change. So the essential question for our profession is this: will we fear it or will we embrace it? To me, there's obviously only one answer. We have to embrace it and use it to make communications an even more essential driver of business. Use it to deliver more value to our organizations, our clients, to their business, to their customers, and to everyone with whom the business interacts. When we build technology into not only what we do, but how we do it, the opportunities are endless. We can have a role at the center of business today as we have never been able to do before, and we can fulfill our great responsibility to the enterprise, to ourselves, and to humanity. And just to ensure that my dad's emphasis on Latin did not go to waste, I'm reminded of the words of Seneca, Dum inter homines sumus calamus humanita. While we are young among humans, let us be humane. Because in an era of incredible change, making our words matter has never mattered more. Thank you for the honor.